Hi guys, my name is Opal and welcome back to my channel. As you can tell from the title of this video, I deleted my social media and I kind of just wanted to share why I did that and what I learned from the whole process. Now, to preface, I am addicted. I'm addicted to my phone. I'm genuinely addicted. I have my phone in my hands constantly 24/7. I really wanted to just take a break and try to get my screen time down because holy shit, it's a lot. Social media has been a part of my life for a long time. I love taking photos. I love making videos. I love creating content. I love connecting with people, and honestly, social media is such a great way to connect with people. I also moved back home to a small town, so I don't get to see my friends that often. Obviously, social media is a really good way for me to connect and interact with my friends. It got to a point where I was just like, I was on that shit for way too many hours of the day. I don't know what happened. I went out one weekend and I kind of decided the next morning, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna delete everything. I'm not gonna go out. I'm gonna stop talking to people unless they're like my best friend and like you have my phone number and it's an emergency. I'm gonna delete Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. I kept Facebook, I kept YouTube, and I kept Pinterest. We'll get into that later because I didn't really use those. But the main three things was Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat. Snapchat, I guess, wasn't really that important for me. I just wanted to kind of cut communication. TikTok and Instagram, I found myself doom scrolling all the time and it was getting so ridiculous. I was like, you know what? Let me just like go ghost and like not talk to anybody. Obviously, I told my friends. Another reason I wanted to delete social media was to regain my critical thinking skills because I started realizing that I was relying on TikTok and Instagram for all of my research purposes, which is like kind of embarrassing. If I had a question, I would go straight to TikTok instead of Google or instead of YouTube. So I replaced it with YouTube and started watching longer form videos. Another thing that I really tried to do during this month was to not go on ChatGPT so much, which I was such a big like, this is embarrassing. I love ChatGPT and I still use it, but honestly, like, I've definitely dialed down a bunch. All in all, this was kind of just a really good way for me to like have a break from people and the internet and just kind of do my own thing. It worked, but at the same time it didn't work. So let's get into that. I wrote some notes before starting this whole challenge, I guess. The things that I want to get out of this. I want to learn to have my own thoughts and not be so influenced by other people's ideas. Let myself grow creatively. Have more time to do productive things. Have a break from being constantly connected to people on a surface level. Not to be persuaded to go to Vancouver for events. To preface, like I said, I live in a different town. If I'm online, I always see the ads and the posters for different events, and I'll usually go there on the weekends. Because I didn't have any of that, I didn't get FOMO, which that was a big plus for me. The first week, the couple of days, I kept grabbing my phone and instinctively checking it, but it was more out of habit. I deleted all the apps and I kind of had to shift a couple things around on my phone. And I found that I was just grabbing it like the first thing that I would wake up, or like if I was going to the bathroom or if I was eating. And I realized, oh shit, like I don't have these apps anymore. So like I can't scroll. So then I'd put it down and like move on with my day. And that kind of got easier, with time. After that, when I realized that I don't have TikTok or Instagram anymore is when I would still have that habit to go on my phone, but I would scroll on random apps like my email, the Notes app, Pinterest, just because I was so used to scrolling. And I was like, this is terrible. Like, this is actually so bad. I was even scrolling on Spotify and going through like random people's playlists just because I needed something to do. If that doesn't tell you that I was cooked, I don't know what does. Another thing that I found was I was expecting to feel left out. I was expecting to feel like I didn't know what was going on with my friends or FOMO or stuff like that. But honestly, I didn't really feel that. I think it was kind of out of sight, out of mind. Other people and what they're doing doesn't really affect me, and that I didn't really care about what was going on. I shifted my focus to spending more time doing productive things like journaling, reading. I was already reading a lot at this point, but I started journaling a little bit more than I normally would have. I started doing yoga in the mornings, which was really nice because I have a terrible back and I have a terrible neck. Yeah, it was really nice to have more time. When I woke up, I wouldn't be scrolling on Instagram or TikTok, so I would get up and try to do like 20 minutes of stretching or yoga. During week 1, I did cheat once at my best friend's house and I was feeling a type of way about something, so I downloaded the app, I checked something, and I deleted it right after. I was like, girl, you're better than this. Week 2, this was probably my best week out of the whole 4 weeks. I was reading a lot. I was going on walks every morning. The weather is starting to get nicer, so I had more time to do that. Something shifted. I used to DJ, lost all of my music. I haven't really had the motivation or the time to re-download all of my music. I decided, you know what, I have all this free time now. I am going to build my music library up again. So that's what I did. I spent the whole week searching for music, finding new songs, playing mixes on YouTube, looking for new music. That was a really productive week for me, and I'm actually pretty proud of myself, because normally doing something like that where it's like a long project, I would have stopped, taken breaks, got on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. But because I didn't have that, I got a lot done. I think week 3 is low-key when things started to go downhill for me. I became obsessed with Facebook Marketplace. I don't know what it was. I think I was looking for something for my trip coming up. I realized, like, why have I not been shopping on here all this time? So then I was constantly on Facebook Marketplace, scrolling, looking for different things. I'm pretty sure I only bought like 2 different things. I bought a camera and I bought a pair of shorts. Something in me, like, it was that urge to just like be online and like be constantly looking for something new or like something different. I think that's what it was, because I was literally addicted to Facebook Marketplace for like 2 weeks. I just don't know what happened. Like, that came out of nowhere. It was so random and so funny to me. This whole time I was watching YouTube, I was reading books, I started going to the gym. So I've been doing all these productive things. I did not allow myself to watch shorts, because I'm like, that's literally the same thing as TikTok. It's not as brain rotty, but it's still short form. I fucked up in week 3 because I started watching shorts, and once you're hooked, bro, like, it is so, I'm telling you, it is so hard to get back out. It's right there. You scroll once, and then you scroll twice, and then next thing you know, an hour has passed, and you're like, fuck, that's not what the whole thing was supposed to be. And I really felt so shitty about it. And then I started scrolling on Pinterest. And okay, Pinterest to me isn't that bad, but one of the main things that I wanted to do this was so that I could feel my creativity coming back. And Pinterest, I feel like, just shows you so much that you don't really have time to think for yourself. And I tried to stop going on shorts. That was really hard. Instagram, I didn't really find missing, to be honest though. I honestly don't think, like, out of all this, I don't think it's about the app specifically. I think it's about short form content and how easily accessible things are to you. One thing that I found was, I'm planning for a trip right now. Trying to do research on YouTube or even just blogs, a lot of it is outdated. And TikTok is so easily accessible. Like, if you want to look up like cute cafes to go in Bangkok, it's so easy. But if you want to look it up on YouTube, you have to watch so many long videos just to find a couple that you think that you might like. And for me, that was really stressful, because I'm like, I don't really have all this time to just be searching for a cafe, when on TikTok I could just see 10 in one video within 30 seconds. I just kept telling myself, people back in the day could do this, I can do it. And if people could travel back in the day without TikTok, I can do it. So that, I don't know, that kind of helped. I did have a couple thoughts this week of, I should just re-download it. It's my rules, my challenge. Like, it's not that deep if I re-download it. But I was like, you know what? No, this feels like a drug, and I feel like I'm relapsing if I do that. So I just stuck to my plan. Now on to week 4. When I noticed that I was watching a lot of short form videos, I cut that off and I decided I'm only gonna watch long form videos. The videos that I was watching, I will be honest, were not that intellectual. I went down a rabbit hole of watching Sarah Safari because I have been going to the gym more, and her vlogs are just so interesting. I wouldn't say that that was much better, but at least I could have a stronger attention span. By now, I started feeling a little bit more isolated from my friends. I'm a pretty social person. I like going out. I like seeing my friends. I like telling people what happens in my day. I started noticing that I was missing people. Everybody has their own life. Everybody's busy. So it's really hard to find a time to have conversations with your friends. And I get that. But I think just not being able to connect with them on a little bit more of a surface level, whether it's even just seeing their posts, I felt a little bit isolated. And I know that seeing people's stories, you know, their Snapchat posts or whatever, that doesn't really equate to connection. But that's, for me in that moment, it felt like it, because I wasn't having any of that, and I just felt like I really needed to reach out and try a little bit harder to have those, you know, meaningful conversations. And like I said, it's really hard when people have busy lives and things going on in their lives, so I get that. But then now on to week 5, I guess, or end of week 4. I love it. I think that was just a hump for me that I needed to get over, because right now I'm like, honestly, I have been loving my alone time. It gives me more time to do things like focus on myself. And I know that sounds so super fucking cliche, like, oh, I'm just like focusing on myself, but really I am. I'm taking this time to, I'm journaling, I'm reading, I'm trying to read more intellectual books other than just straight smut, which was something that I was really bad for. Like I said, I've been going on more walks, I've been going to the gym, I have been putting more emphasis on nutrition and eating healthier. I have been discovering things about myself. Yes, I still doom scroll. Since I downloaded the apps again, I'm gonna be honest, I feel like I went back to square one when it came to doom scrolling. But everything else that came with that, like the piece of not really caring about what other people are doing, it just feels really nice. Like it feels honestly like a weight has been lifted over my shoulders. Like when I re-downloaded the apps, I felt really overwhelmed about, oh my god, like there's so much going on. I don't have to see every single post, I don't have to comment on every single thing. And that's something that didn't really get until now, is like I felt like I had to be constantly spreading myself thin and like constantly being connected to all these different things, especially because I do have a lot of different hobbies and I have a lot of, you know, acquaintances in different areas in my life. It was really hard for me to, I felt like I was just giving all of myself to my phone, when it's like, it's okay, I can just put my phone down, I can go downstairs, eat my dinner without having my phone. Things like that, yes, I can do. I'm still trying to cut back on the doom scrolling. It is difficult because now it's there and it's so accessible. If I'm doom scrolling, I will just scroll past like the kind of brain rotty stuff. See my feed, I'm trying to make it more educational, things that actually bring value to my life. I'm trying to find a balance. That's what I learned from deleting social media for a month. Honestly, I feel like everybody should do it, and it's nice to just have a break. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. Are you addicted to doom scrolling? What apps are you addicted to? I'm curious, I want to know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye bye.